because of that, I feel distracted by these chickens and roosters. Take two. Hello, y'all. We're in Ybor City.
That would take you all the way down to
Ybor City.
It can take you as far as Channel Side that I know.
Feeling today.
Loving it. It's been a while since I've been out here in Ybor City. Ybor City is historically known for the multiple cigar factories when they were really active. They still hand roll a lot of cigars out here, so it has a lot of culture and history, and it's really beautiful, especially on this Sunday morning.
This restaurant is a whole block since 1905. Look at all the roosters. Look at all the roosters.
I'm not gonna say.
They're kind of pretty. So our topic today for our marriage talk is,
Interracial marriage.
as you can tell, my honey here.
I'm black.
That's a black man.
And I'm Native American, if that even matters.
That's a black man right
so
there.
I don't think it really matters though.
And me, Puerto Rican. Because of that, there's some differences and some cool things that come along with being in an interracial marriage. I wanted to start off by talking about Loving Day. Richard and Mildred Loving, they were married in 1958, and this was back when interracial marriages weren't legal in all 50 states. And so it just makes me think, 1958, and before that, we probably couldn't even be married. Unless I was more brown skinned. Puerto Ricans come in all colors, you know what I'm saying? We brown, we white, we black, everything. Given my skin tone and Jeremy's skin tone, I don't know. Maybe we wouldn't be able to be married. I don't know, what do you think?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Because of that, they went to court, and then a bill was passed that, interracial marriages were legalized. And so that's a beautiful thing, and because of that, we're sitting here today.
Before we got married, how did you feel about being in an interracial marriage?
Well, interracial relationship, because we weren't married yet. I wrote the questions.
Follow the script.
I wrote the questions. I actually didn't really think much of it. It didn't really cross my mind. I mean, Jeremy was actually the first black man that I've ever dated and fell in love with. But I didn't think much of it, and that's the truth.
Yeah, I really didn't think much of it at all, now that I think about it, because I just saw Chelsea for Chelsea. But besides Chelsea, it's more in general. I'm one of those people that's not really picky about it. Culturally, depending on where you're from, your life, how your family brought you up, that might look a little bit different. Like something like cultural biases, or just how you view marrying somebody of a different culture than you or ethnicity than you, and it's just a thing that actually determine who you see to marry one day, whether that's pressure from yourself, your peers, or just like your family in general. But for me, I'm more of an open person. I was gonna say like, but that's positive.
How'd your family feel about it?
So for my family, they're open for anyone as long as they're not white. That's literally just how they feel about it. It's the thing. It's like the age and time you grew up in that makes a huge difference, and how you see relationships back then. I mean, be kind of off, like just in the, as you just said, in the 1950s, a white man and a black woman. It's like, what are you doing? You know, it wasn't a culture norm. It was seen at the time as wrong, and so asking like a relationship advice from an older generation probably would not be an answer that you would be looking for in today's generation. Like,
but I guess was there an issue because I'm not black?
You specifically? No, you're fine because you're also a minority.
Because you're Puerto Rican.
Yes.
Okay, next question.
Was it hard at first being in an interracial marriage?
For me, no, but I did realize that there was some differences in the way that we were raised, and I think that can go beyond just your ethnicity or your race, right? You don't realize like the way that you were raised has a lot to do with who you are, and like, you know, what kind of things that you do in your house, or like, you know, do you buy hand soap for the kitchen or do you use dish soap? Because I grew up using dish soap.
I feel like that's just you. That has nothing to do with being in an interracial.
But there are some differences, you know what I'm saying? Like food and
there we go.
Culture.
There we go.
Just getting used to the differences, and that, I guess, I was learning that when we were dating, not just when we were married. So this was like when we were dating and we were getting to know each other's families and go to family parties and stuff like that.
Well, you learn all this while you're dating. It's basically like the actual hard stuff, not soap. But like, yeah, food, culture, something like, how do you celebrate Christmas? You know, what else that makes that culture different? They do paranda.
Paranda is straight Puerto Rican though.
Yeah.
I don't know if other like Hispanics do parandas. Maybe, you know, I'm very illiterate. That's not the word to use. I'm very ignorant.
There we go.
Ignorant when it comes to like other, you know, other Cubans and Dominicans and things like that, because I was raised Puerto Rican. Another thing is that Jeremy had to get used to when he would come to my family's parties or my family houses or get-togethers and stuff. You gotta kiss everybody on the cheek. You don't gotta kiss the men, but all the women, you have to give them a kiss. And you have to acknowledge everybody. You have to say hi to everybody. Even if you don't kiss everybody, you know, we're in COVID right now, so we're not kissing everybody, like, you know, getting close as we used to. And if you don't give them a kiss or a hug, you still have to acknowledge every single person, right? Hello, this person. Hello, that person. Hello, that person. And if you don't, you ain't say hi to me. You just walk. How you just gonna walk by? You ain't gonna say nothing? Rude. Is that the same? Do you feel like that's the same for your family?
No. Well, you do need to say hi.
For Jeremy's family?
Wrong. Like, if you're going to grandma's house, you have to say hi.
For Jeremy's family, it's like, hey, everybody. You go to the next room. Hey, everybody. Next room. Hey, everybody. For us, it's like, you better give every single, if there's 25 people in that house, you better acknowledge every person.
I mean, you have to greet the host.
Of course.
Yeah.
100%.
And you have to greet the oldest generation. That's
important. That's important.
If you don't, you kind of still just disrespect.
But the Puerto Ricans, bendición. But you don't have to bendición everybody.
What are some differences about our families?
We kind of talked about this already. Like, obviously, food, music, the way that, you know, our dances, our parties, our wedding, you know, just things like that, culturally. I feel like Puerto Ricans and black people are very similar.
Yeah.
We're very similar. We're cousins, basically. Being Puerto Rican, I mean, technically, it's not a race, right? Being Puerto Rican is not my race, it's my ethnicity.
Yeah. We don't speak Spanish.
You don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, there you go.
Ding. That's a big one. You don't speak Spanish.
Yep.
Not all of us speak Spanish, you know. Not everybody was fortunate to learn Spanish.
But there are people in your family that speak Spanish.
There are people in my family.
There's nobody in my family that speaks Spanish. That's not true. I have one cousin that speaks Spanish. That's because she's Puerto Rican.
Okay, what's the next? You have a cousin that's Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Similarities, I think the way that we
Love
respect
our
our elders and the love. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of love.
Put family first.
And I wouldn't necessarily say that like white people don't do that. There's just like it's like a tight family bond, you know, that I see is very similar within our families.
Yeah. The odds of us putting our family in a nursing home is close
respect. Heck no, you ain't putting your granny in no nursing home. Abuelita ain't going.
Yeah.
She living with somebody. Even though I work at an assisted living and I've worked in nursing homes and I respect that industry and I think it's important, I think it's disrespectful to put your abuelita in a nursing home.
It's your final time. You're really gonna be with your family.
It's your final time. You don't want them living like alone in a room. Like surround them with their great grandkids and things like that. You know, I can't speak for everybody. You know, some people have dementia and are harder to take care of. But just general, yeah, it's like respect in that aspect.
What is your favorite thing about being in an interracial marriage?
I love your family, you know, and I speak mostly about your mom's side of the family because I don't really know your dad's side of the family. If y'all are watching, Jeremy's mom's side of the family, I love you guys, and I've always felt welcomed coming around. I've never felt anything other than welcomed, with open arms and hugs and loves. So that I think, yeah, I mean it's just beautiful. Like to think, I think about when we have children, they're gonna grow up with a black side and they're gonna grow up with a Puerto Rican side. You know, like me being full of Puerto Rican, I grew up with a Puerto Rican side and a Puerto Rican side. My mom's side, the family was very similar to my dad's side of the family. And the food that we ate, the music that we listened to, you know, the words that we used and things that we said. Something that I'm excited for my future children is they're gonna have a black side and a Puerto Rican side. They're gonna be eating baked mac and cheese, soul food, you know what I'm saying, greens, things like that. And they're gonna be eating arroz con gandule, patele. They're just gonna have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Then you get to the best part of, I already ate Thanksgiving at one house, but
you gotta eat again.
I'm just gonna eat it for the taste.
For the taste. Eat for the
You get a full plate too.
That's what Jeremy used to do. He would come over after being at his granny house, come over to my granny house, and like, I'm so full, but I'm gonna eat this this rice and beans and pernil because it's so delicious.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing too. Also, it's a completely different world. It's a completely different experience. It's something that I've never experienced a day in my life. And so because it's like a completely different world, completely different culture, and it's not like it's like a horribly different culture. Like it's still American, but
right.
The thing is, it's like Puerto Rican American is like its own thing. You know, it's full of love and passion, and you know.
I love us, and I'm so blessed and grateful to be with a man who has a different background than me, and we're very similar backgrounds. I mean, we obviously grew up in Milwaukee, right? American, but our ethnicity plays a huge factor in how we were raised and the way that we view the world and the way that the world views us and things like that. So, yeah, just very, very blessed and very grateful.
Yeah. Oh, was that supposed to? There you go.
There you go.
Ybor.